Hello there guys, welcome to my review of the 2015 CollectA Xionguanlong. So just like my previous review, the Allosaurus, I bought this guy for my next DI show, which is going to be playing a juvenile Eotyrannus to go alongside the BOTM figure. And, well, we'll get to that in the size comparisons. I think this is one of CollectA's better figures with a base because of how small the base is. So, like, this thing is tiny. It would be a bit longer if the tail was straightened out, but I think the base, just like their Gallimimus from 2024, is actually really well proportioned. It's not overly large, and I like how it's got a couple of little rocks and stuff. But one thing that I did notice is it kind of looks like they added the base as like an afterthought, because the feet don't match up with the base. It just kind of looks like they glued it on because, oh, this figure has properly proportioned feet and can't stand up. I don't mind that. There are other things I definitely do mind about it. So, being from 2015, this seems to be near the end of the epidemic of CollectA chonky hip syndrome, because this thing is perfectly proportioned right up until you get to the legs. And then it has these oddly wide thighs, which I guess could be a result of lots of dino fuzz, but when you look at the legs themselves, they are definitely not overly fluffed. And then the tail is so scrawny. Like, this thing has no cordifemoralis muscle. It has a rat tail. And then, interestingly, they chose to not fully feather it, so it's got sort of lazy, in my opinion, rectangular scales on the underside, which, well, most of the time they're not really that visible, so it's okay. I like this little tuft of feathers at the back of the head. And then it's hard to tell, but I don't think there are feathers on the forearms, which is an interesting choice. One of the things I am astounded at is the paint quality on this thing. There is no paint bleeding on this figure, considering how tiny it is. Considering, like, there is the occasional bit of paint bleeding on CollectA's minis, but this is smaller than their Herrerasaurus. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about Xionguanlong, but I would assume the arms are correctly proportioned. Yeah, I can't really say much about something I don't know a lot about. So I guess we'll get into size comparisons. I'm going to start off with a couple of other Tyrannosaurs from CollectA. So we've got the Juvenile Rex, which is almost exactly the same size, actually. And then the Mini T-Rex. You got the BOTM Eotyrannus, which is not going to stand up. So this is the adult, this is the juvenile, and because I don't have any mini Dialong from Safari, I'm going to use T-Rexes. So these right here, this represents the whole life cycle. Got the consistent size comparison of the Papodimetrodon. Got Papo-feathered Velociraptor, CollectA Steg, and then just to emphasize the size of this thing, bring in the CollectA Dreadnoughtus. So as you can see, this thing is quite small, even compared to the juvenile T-Rex. Actually, this came a year earlier. So, if this thing had ever so slightly better proportions, it would probably be a 5 out of 5. I think the rat tail, the wide hips, and the kind of lazy scaling on the underbelly when there probably shouldn't even be scales there. I think I'm going to have to give this a 4.6, which is still pretty high, but yeah. So, that's it for dinosaur reviews for a while. So I guess I'll see you next time.